Because you start realizing who people are. They lied to you. I was telling Marissa this. I can't stand a liar, and I can't stand a thief.
And, I stole some money. It was identity theft type crime. I took some money from banks, financial institutions, not people, defrauded banks, and they gave me 10 years in prison. I was only expecting 2 at the most.
Honor Network, whose volunteers keep an eye on the internet, protecting victims of tragedy, cyber stalking, and harassment.
So don't say anything incriminating at this point.
Nah.
Drove to Connecticut and impersonated the uncle of Adam Lanza, the shooter in the Sandy Hook Elementary School incident. You son of a bitch.
He told townspeople he was Lanza. 2 days after the Newtown school massacre, Riches drove to Connecticut in an attempt to visit Lanza's home, but was turned away by real family members. He also
saw the memorial for the victims. I got on my knees and started pretending I was crying, right? So next thing I know, all these like fake news reporters, New York Times and New York Daily News Post and Huffington Post and those idiots, they start flashing, their cameras in my face. Hey, we're very emotional here. What's going on? And I just winged it. I said, my name is Jonathan Lanza. I am the uncle of the shooter. I'm here to pay respect to the victims. And they're like, what? You know what I mean? What? And next thing I know, I'm like surrounded by by people like a press conference, and they believe me I was the uncle of the shooter. A gonzo journalist.
Me too.
I kind of incorporate that style, and I have the 100% backing of my boss to do that. That's my job, to poke the other side, whatever.
Prison. This ain't you. You're going. This ain't you on my motherfucking property. You just assault. Shut up, bitch.
And trigger them and get reactions out of them. Blow bullhorns in their face as I'm reporting and calling them whatever to get the reaction. That I do that. That's what I want.
Did you ask him to leave your property?
So it's fun, and I will continue to do it. It's not going to stop.
It's one of Honor's goals to protect victims and establish more of a boundary for what's defined as abuse and harassment. YouTube channel is monetized, or their blog is monetized. They also take donations, and they use platforms like PayPal to receive funds, which means that PayPal is making money off of this. So we have it automated so that anyone can help and take action. Hate speech is not free speech. Harassment is not free speech. It is what it is.
It doesn't give people the right to defame someone or incite others to hunt someone down, or just generally terrorizing someone is not free speech.
Mid-20s, living in Florida and collaborating with teenage chat room acquaintances in Texas, who used spam emails to trick victims into disclosing personal information. Investigators described the way Jonathan Lee Riches would stroll into a bank, flash fake identification, and coolly impersonate his victim, convincing tellers to hand over thousands of dollars in cash. The consequences reverberated widely. By the estimate of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the group charged more than $1.4 million to accounts opened in the names of about 2,000 people. Riches was the ringleader and was sent to prison for 10 years. Riches' own parents, who live in a small town in Pennsylvania, served probation for failing to fully cooperate with investigators. Sentenced to 125 months in prison for fraud and conspiracy, Riches kept up a steady legal correspondence on his case. In March 2006, from a medium-security prison in South Carolina, he filed a motion seeking the return of confiscated assets, including 23 new PlayStation video games, a commemorative Super Bowl football, 66 new shirts with tags, a plunger, a subwoofer, and a box of life vests. The document drew little attention or sympathy, and the judge ordered the items forfeited to the FBI for donation to Goodwill Industries.
Or is it incumbent upon people like this professor to defend their own reputation? That is an excellent question. I think it's really hard. To me, the internet is like this leaky sieve of data, right? It's really, really hard to warn internet sleuths. And, one of the things that they can do to make it be taken more seriously is press criminal charges against this person who is basically naming this professor by name. But again, you run the risk of now you are deflecting from this active murder investigation to pursue these criminal charges. So criminal charges are one thing that you can do to deter this type of behavior. However, I do think that the onus is upon people to not be engaging in this type of very specific behavior. It's okay to think about what you think could have been missed or what you think could have happened, but it's not okay to name names without any kind of criminal indictment.